Hi, welcome to the webinar Lifelong Learning Options, Learning Throughout the Lifespan. Thanks so much for joining us. This webinar is being offered through the Utah Parent Center and is being funded through a grant through the Interagency Outreach Training Initiative through Utah State University. My name is Michelle Murphy, and I'm one of the Associate Directors here at the Utah Parent Center. If you have questions or comments for me, please feel free to call me or email me at the information listed below. A little bit about me personally. These are my two boys that I have living with me at home. My youngest is named Aiden, and you can see him down below dressed as a wizard at a Harry Potter party. He is quite the rambunctious one. He does have a diagnosis of ADHD, so as you can imagine, he's very active and very playful and very silly. And my oldest is named Christopher, and he has a diagnosis of autism. And this is him at a high school dance that he went to last school year. My boys are really the reason I do what I do here at the center, because I know firsthand some of the challenges and some of the rewards of having children with disabilities. In today's webinar, I'm going to cover a little bit about lifelong learning. This year at the center, we've talked a lot about lifelong learning and how important it is for kids with special needs to engage in lifelong learning. And we often get questions in relation to lifelong learning. Parents will ask us a lot about college and say, well, I'm not sure that my student with special needs will be pursuing college. So what other learning opportunities are there for my children with special needs? So in this webinar, we're going to be talking a little bit about some of the other options that exist for lifelong learning besides just college. But first, I want to cover a little bit of the key points about lifelong learning. First of all, lifelong learning is always available, meaning that it happens throughout the lifespan. It never really ends. If you think about yourself in your adult life, we never really stop learning. Even when we're done with college, we continue to learn through life experience, through our work in our careers, and through our life as being parents. And this continues throughout our lifespan, and it happens at any age. So truly, lifelong learning is a lifelong process. It's also available to any of us at any functional level. So whether we're a high-functioning individual or we have significant special needs, lifelong learning should be available to all of us. And it's really more than just a college experience. Lifelong learning is part of what we do every day. And it's available in any area of the state. So sometimes we hear from parents, well, I'm not sure what's available in my area of the state. And in this webinar, we really want to get across to you that lifelong learning is available everywhere in the state of Utah. And we're going to be highlighting different things that are available and also talking about what to do if you're not seeing as much as you'd like to see in your area of the state. Okay, so diving right in, we're going to go over a few different ideas that you may not have thought about in regards to lifelong learning. So first suggestion of where to look for lifelong learning opportunities would be to check out your local library. First of all, library in and of itself offers books. And what better opportunity for lifelong learning is there than books? We know that books are now offered in such a wide variety of formats, and that has opened doors for a lot of people with disabilities that didn't used to be there. We now have traditional books, and we now have audiobooks, and we have digital books, which allows people with disabilities to access books in a variety of different formats. Libraries also offer a lot of other things in addition to just books that are really helpful for lifelong learning. So they offer CDs, they offer movies and DVDs, they offer computer programming. Some libraries even have tablets and other devices that are available for checkout. They offer magazines, they offer encyclopedias. So there's a wide variety of different things that are available for checkout that assist in lifelong learning. In addition to all of that, they also offer a lot of classes that are free of charge available to assist in lifelong learning, and many of them are very accessible for a variety of different levels. I want to just show you how you can access different classes and find different classes that are available through your local library system. So I'm just going to take you off the screen for just a moment as I access those resources. So I'm going to take you to the Salt Lake County Library System because that's the local library system closest to where I live. But almost every library system throughout the state of Utah is going to have a website that you can visit. So what you want to do is just find that website and then go to it. Once you're on that website, you should be able to access a community calendar or a calendar of events in relation to that library system that you could access. So just pulling up the calendar here for Salt Lake County Library System, which I just did. So I'm going to share my screen with you here. Okay, so you now should be seeing the library calendar for Salt Lake County Library System. And you'll see that there's a lot of different events listed. You can fine-tune it by a specific library, or you can look at the master calendar here. And you'll see that there's all different types of events. There's kid events, there's adult events. So there's things, everything from physical classes like karate class to kid classes like Itsy Bitsy Story Time. There's art displays, things like Zumba, and that would be available to all different levels of functioning. And you can scroll down from different week to week, see different events that are going on. So this is just really helpful to see what's happening. Smaller libraries may have things posted on signs as you go into the individual branches. But there are certainly a lot of different lifelong learning opportunities available for completely free through the library system. So be sure to check out what those are in your local library system. In addition to classes, a lot of the local libraries subscribe to some online classes through Universal Classes. So through the local library system in Salt Lake County, I was able to find the link to this through the teen space. You may be able to find this other locations as well. Other library systems in Utah also subscribe to this service as well, but you want to check with them to find out how to access this. So how I got to this was Salt Lake or sloclibrary.org/teen/AML/universalclass.htm. And it brought me to this at my library, universal class. And it just says, don't have money to learn something new? We've got you covered. Check out the library's universal class. With this free resource, you take the class when you have time. There are a lot of different subjects, and you get to have a real live instructor. Check out the universal class today. This is available for teens and adults of any functioning level. Click on here. It will take you to the universal class site. This is normally a paid site, so you do need to have a library card to get the class for free. There are literally hundreds of classes on this site. You do not get college credit for these courses, but you can get continuing education credits. So if you click on the course catalog here, you will see that there are tons and tons of different areas you can take classes in. Everything from do-it-yourself to test preparation to spiritual studies, special education, self-help, psychology, pet and animal care. I've actually browsed around on this site before and looked at some of their craft and hobby classes because that's something I'm interested in. So you can see there's everything from bread baking to couponing, digital photography, face painting, floral arranging, how to do a manicure. And there's also a lot of technology courses. If you had, for example, a young adult on the autism spectrum who maybe wanted to learn some computer programming, there's quite a few courses on things like that here as well. So great opportunities for adults that may want to brush up on skills without all the pressures of a college campus. So this is certainly a great option for lifelong learning. Okay, back to our PowerPoint presentation. Another great place to have some lifelong learning opportunities is through community education classes. These are oftentimes offered through school districts or through local universities and colleges. These are classes that you do not get college credit for, but do offer learning opportunities. They're very inclusive. Oftentimes, an individual with a disability could bring an aide or a support person with them to the course. They're very low cost, typically between $25 and about $40 per course. And this is a great option for lifelong learning. So just to kind of show you that, that they are available in different areas of the state, I brought you to the Dixie State Community Education website. So right now it's summer semester, so I'm going to bring up the course catalog for summer. And you can see that there is a wide variety of different classes available for summer. So we've got some flamingo dancing courses, we've got aviation classes, we've got golf, we've got intro to windows, we've got oil painting, piano, and so on. And there's some classes for children, some classes for teens, some classes for adults. So a nice variety of classes, and this will change every semester. So lots of opportunities for lifelong learning through community education classes. Also, it never hurts to ask if they would consider adding classes exclusively for individuals with disabilities. I know the Granite Community Education classes in Salt Lake City, for a period of time because of demand from parents, did offer some classes exclusively for individuals with disabilities. So it's always an option to bring that up with the organizers. And if you feel that's a need in your community, feel free to voice that. And that's always something they could consider moving forward. Okay. Parks and recreation is another great way and another great thing to do for lifelong learning. Sometimes people don't associate parks and recreation with lifelong learning. They feel like, well, that's just for fun, it's not really lifelong learning. But I think some of the best learning experiences we have in life have to do with having social experiences and doing things in group settings. And I work with a lot of families and young adults where their friends have all left for college and they're stuck at home feeling kind of lonely and isolated. And I think a really important element of lifelong learning is having meaningful, fulfilling things to do during the day. And Parks and Rec can often fill your time with some of those types of activities. So I definitely think it's a consideration in lifelong learning. So to give you a feel of what Parks and Rec might have to offer, I have brought up the Salt Lake County Parks and Recreation Department. They have one of the most extensive programs around. However, there are many parks and recreation departments throughout the state of Utah that also offer programming. So you can see that they have everything from sports to aquatics to summer camps, and they also have inclusive programming, which means that individuals with disabilities could go to regular programming and get accommodations and supports in those settings. So let's say I have a young adult and they're kind of looking for some social events or activities. So you could click on that, and they've got some art programs that are offered for ages 13 and up. And they also have some really fun theater programs that are offered for ages 13 and up. And if I were to click on those links, it would give me some more detailed information about that specific type of programming. So really fun stuff that they have going on. And also under sports, there is an awful lot of really fun things. They've got everything from archery to bowling to golf, rugby. My son actually participated in the archery and he had a great time. So there is a lot of really fun things, lots of interesting things. And again, if your local recreation department is not offering something that you think would be fun to try, talk with them about the possibilities. They're always open to hearing new ideas and considering programming that would be appealing to the clients in your area. Okay, back to our presentation once again. This is one of the most exciting resources that I think a lot of people don't realize is available in their community. and that is the Utah State Extension classes. A lot of people hear about Utah State and they think, oh, that's great, but I don't live near Utah State, so I don't think this really applies to me. Luckily, Utah State Extension classes is something that's available throughout Utah, all over the place. So I'm going to take a minute to just kind of get you familiar with this resource and show you a little bit about what they have to offer. So going back to them, I want to show you where you can go to find out some of the resources that are available through Utah State. So the website you would go to is extension.usu.edu/foodsense/locations. And that is this URL right here on the top. And you will then see that there is a bunch of different counties listed. We have every county here in Utah listed. So there are a lot of counties listed here in Utah. So you would find the county that you live closest to or that you live in, and then you would click on it. So let's say that I live maybe in Duchesne County. So you would click on that, and it will bring up a website that you can click on for your county. And it's then going to show you a list of all the upcoming events sponsored through USU Extension in your county. So in Duchesne County, they have a Love and Logic class coming up, and it will tell you the details of that. And then they have what they call Food Sense classes. These are nutrition classes that they sponsor, and they always have recipe and food demos. So they have one coming up on June 28th, and you could click on the class to see more details. Looks like they're going to learn how to make a meal, and they're going to have a food demo and sample. So that one is going to be from 2 to 3 p.m. on Wednesday, June 28th. And this would be a great opportunity, something that you could bring adults with special needs to. A great lifelong learning opportunity. They also have some food pantries that are available, and it tells you where those are. And they're going to also be doing demos on how to make meals with basic ingredients. And it says that the classes are family friendly and free. Each class will include a sample. So those are some additional things. And then they have some family mealtime classes as well. So they're going to be talking about table settings, manners, and they're going to plan a family meal and cook a family meal. So again, lots of great things that are available for free to go to. Some of the other ones I looked at in some of the other counties also had some gardening events that were available as well for free. So again, awesome, free, lifelong learning opportunities. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the 4-H curriculum that is available through Utah State University Extension as well. So they have clubs that are already established that individuals with disabilities could potentially join. But let's say that they didn't have a club in your area and you had a group of young adults or adults with disabilities that wanted to have their own 4-H club. You would only need a couple of parents or volunteers that were interested in facilitating that club, or maybe even young adults or adults with disabilities wanted to facilitate that club. There are many, many clubs. They have curriculum available for free, and then they even have kits of supplies that you can check out and use for free. And I just wanted to show you some of the clubs. A lot of times we think of 4-H, we think of animals, and sometimes that's a little intimidating. You know, we're like, well, I don't have a cow or a pig. But they have many, many clubs. So just to give you a feel, I want to tell you some of the clubs. So 4-H Papercraft Club, 4-H Art of Math Club, 4-H Photography Club, 4-H Beading Club, 4-H Dog Club, 4-H Family History Club. How fun is that? 4-H Python Code Club, 4-H Cake Decorating Club, 4-H Fitness Club, 4-H Robotics Club. Let's see what else. 4-H Sewing Club, 4-H Consumer Science Club, 4-H Snack Club. Now that sounds like a club I could join. 4-H Spa and Relaxation Club. That sounds fun. 4-H Theater Club, 4-H Emergency Preparedness Club, Surviving a Zombie Apocalypse. That sounds pretty awesome right there. 4-H Healthy Relationships Club, 4-H Duct Tape Craft Club. And they're always adding more and more clubs. So what a fun way to create kind of your own activity, a lifelong learning opportunity in your area for adults or young adults with disabilities. Something that your community could get behind and get involved with. So if you're interested, you just click on the club and kind of fill out the questions to get the curriculum for free. Get your club started, and then they also have kits that you can check out. So if you click on this, you can see some of the kits that you can borrow. So beading totes, cake decorating. The curriculum has lesson plans. It tells you exactly what to do. It's very comprehensive. So great stuff available through Utah State. I would definitely encourage you to check out all that they have to offer as far as lifelong learning goes. They have wonderful things. Okay, next idea. Lifelong learning idea, next chapter book club. This is sponsored through the Developmental Disabilities Council of Utah. And this is a special book club made for people with developmental disabilities. It's a new model that they're trying, and they're having some great results with this. Really fun opportunity. So if you want to learn more about this, you can go to the Utah Developmental Disabilities Council website, which is utahddcouncil.org/people-first. If you scroll up here, they're meeting at coffee shops, libraries, etc. around the state. Readers or emerging readers are welcomed. You do not actually have to be a reader to participate. The readers in the group decide what they would like to read, and they get together and talk about it. Right now they have groups in Park City, West Jordan, Salt Lake, and Logan. If you don't have one in your area and you'd like to get one started, they just need to find a couple of volunteers, and these can be people in the community or individuals with disabilities themselves. They get together and they talk and have a book club experience. What a great opportunity for lifelong learning. So I'd encourage you, if you're interested in this, to go to the website. There's a little video down here you can watch about it. And there's some informational flyers on the website about how to get started, and you can certainly call them to get more information. Another great opportunity for lifelong learning. Okay, another great idea is to pursue classes through the Independent Living Centers in Utah. Despite its name, the Independent Living Center does not just offer classes for people that are living independently. It offers classes for young adults and adults with disabilities who want to pursue independent living skills. So that means everything from things like learning how to cook, learning social skills, learning how to budget, learning how to get around the community, all types of things like that. So it's geared at teaching independent living skills to individuals with disabilities. Just taking you to the website here. This is the Independent Living Center for Salt Lake and Tooele area. And this is their calendar of upcoming events. So they have a lot of fun things coming up. They have recreational things like bowling, fishing, a trip to the Utah Arts Festival, and they have educational things like exercise classes, stepping stones to independence classes, peer support groups, gardening and wellness classes, disability and disability culture classes, advocacy classes. So a lot of different varieties. What I love about them is they're very affordable. And again, they're not going to break the bank by going and taking classes through them. So lots of fun things. They have activities throughout the year. So they're really great and very friendly to the disability community. So definitely a place worth looking at for lifelong learning, and something that's definitely worth your time to pursue. So that's another great option for lifelong learning. Okay, another idea is day programs. Now, one piece of advice I would give you on this is that if you're interested with day programs, oftentimes they come with a hefty price tag. So if day programs is something you think you might be interested in after your child exits the school system, It's always a good idea to see if your child might qualify for services through the Division of Services for People with Disabilities, and that is something that you're going to want to do in advance. There is a long wait list for these services, so you're going to want to apply for these services as soon as you can. Sometimes students can wait for up to 10 years on the wait list, so you want to make sure that you apply while your child is still in school and young to receive these services. But there are a number of different programs. Some examples would be things like RISE or TURN or Neighborhood House or Murray Greenhouse Foundation. There are many, many programs in the communities throughout the state that provide these types of services. However, you do typically have to pay for these services, and that can get expensive without some sort of revenue source, which is where DSPD would come into play. If you have questions about these types of things, you can call our center for more information. Okay, so the last thing I want to close with is just don't be discouraged by not having everything in your area. Utah is a state where we have a lot of rural areas where sometimes services are a little bit limited, but that doesn't mean you don't have a voice to get more things in your area. Many, many things that have been put into place over recent years have come into play by parent advocacy. So I just want to give you a couple of quick examples of things that have happened because of parent and consumer advocacy by individuals with disabilities. So one example is in the Magna Library, they recently got a really awesome 3D printer. And a lot of the patrons were using the 3D printer, and it was a lot of fun, and it was great. But it was a little bit difficult for teens and young adults with disabilities to use the 3D printer because it was always being used by other people, and it was something that was taking them a little bit longer to use. And so some of the patrons of the library asked if there could be some dedicated time for teenagers and young adults with disabilities to use the 3D printer. And once the library understood that that was a need and a desire, they were able to set aside some dedicated time for young adults and adults with disabilities to use the 3D printer. So that only happened, though, because people requested that and made it known that that was a need. Another example is in the St. George area. They recently built an All Abilities Park, and this was primarily spurred by interest by the community. Community members and individuals in the disability community saying this is something that's important to us. We really want this All Abilities Park to be built. So again, what happens in the community is really spurred by people voicing what they want and what they need. So as you interface with the library or with community education or with Parks and Rec or with any of the places we've discussed today, don't be afraid to talk to them about what you need and what would be helpful to individuals with disabilities. Encourage your young adults to speak for themselves too and help communicate what they want and need in the community. It's really important to speak up and help our partners know what we need and what our young adults need and want as well. So with that, I hope that this workshop was helpful to you. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call anytime. We do offer free one-on-one consultations. You can call us at our main number at 801-272-1051, or you can visit us at our website at www.utahparentcenter.org. You can also find us on Facebook. Just look for Utah Parent Center, and we'll be happy to help you. Thank you so much for watching our presentation. We hope you learned something new today, and feel free to give us a call if you have any further questions. Thank you and have a great day.